bigger. And we're going to be learning today, or reviewing, what the mean is. What the mean is. How many of you took AVID last year, like in the wheel in 6th grade? Cool. Do you guys remember doing the GPA? That GPA assignment is the same thing as mean. Does anybody remember what you did for the GPA? No. Great. Great. Let Miss Bañuelos know that everyone remembered. Terrible. Just terrible. Okay. So, mean is when we add all the numbers. So you add all your grades. Does anybody remember what an A equals? 4. Good. All right. Does anybody remember what an F equals? 0. Don't get F's. Mean. Mean is another word for average. What is your average grade? What is your average GPA? When you look at your grade for any of your classes, your grade is the mean. It's the average. That's what the computer does. All right, there are 2 steps to finding the mean. Step 1. Step 1 to finding the mean is to add all the numbers. Okay? So your first step in finding the mean is to add up all the numbers. Everybody's writing this down. Remember, if I'm writing in my notebook, you're writing in your notebook. Everything I write. Everything. Everything. All right, so add up all the numbers. That's pretty easy. Step 2. Step 2 is to divide by how many numbers you have. Divide by how many numbers you have. So, do you have 10 numbers that you added? Do you have 5 numbers that you added? Did you add 100 numbers? Oh my God, that would be a pain. So you're going to divide by how many numbers you have. Sometimes we have 2 numbers. Sometimes we have 5. I like 5 numbers. My favorite number. Okay, so you're going to divide by how many numbers you have. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Oh, great. Oh, good. Yay. I'll go with 1. All right, cool. It's supposed to be very easy. It's supposed to be. All right, write these numbers down. 5, 10, 12, 8, and 30. Write those numbers down. 5, 10, 12, 8, 30. Nice and neat. We're 7th graders, and we're going to slow it down and write neatly. We're proud of our work. We're good? Okay. So the question is, what is the, mean? What is the mean? That's the question you're going to get on the test or on the do now. What is the mean? All right. So what's the first thing we have to do? Step number 1. What do I have to do? Add all the numbers. All right. So right now, go on the side and add these. 30, 12, 10, 8, and 5. However you want to add them. You want to add 2 at a time, 3 at a time, all of them at a time. You want to use your fingers? Yes. So go ahead and add them. Give you guys a moment to add quietly. So we're adding. We're writing our answer down. Walking around, seeing what you added, what you get when you added. You're not done adding. Good, good, good. Use your fingers. Good. Good, better, better. Good, good. What did you guys get? get when you added? Nice. Did you get 100? I got 100. Yeah. You got 2? Good job. I'm really proud of you. Bring a tear to my eye. All right, what do we get? 65. See, 65. There were 2 of you who missed the number 8, which is interesting to have 2 of you miss the number 8. All right, so what do we call 65? We call that the sum. The sum is your answer to an addition problem, and you're going to see the word sum a lot today. So sum is, hey, what do you get when you add them? Sum. That's a fancy math word. Is that my mean though? No. What do I still have to do? Divide. So step number 2 is divide by, what are we going to divide by? The total numbers that we have. So how many numbers do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to divide by 5. Divide by 5. All right, so I'm going to put the 65 inside and the 5 goes outside. So everybody set up your division problem. Everybody set up their division problem in their notebooks. 65 divided by 5. And then we cover up with our finger. How many times does 5 go into 6?
1 time.
1 time. So we put the 1 on top of the 6. We subtract. We get 1. Then we bring down the 5. So how many times does 5 go into 15? 3 times. That's 15. Zeroed out. Makes me happy. So therefore, what is the mean? The mean is 13. I'm going to highlight that for you. So the mean is 13. After you divide, that's your answer. So first you add, and then you divide, and that's your answer. Let's see, what part of this is hard? None of it, right?
No.
I hope not. Yes, you're going to have to divide. There's no way around it. All right, let's do another one. Okay, Ralph, leave me some space so later you can copy this. So, and then leave me some space and then start writing this down with me, okay? So leave some space for more notes later on. All right, everybody write this down. 5, 10, 5, 6, and 4. So write those numbers down nice and neat. Nice and neat. 5, 10, 5, 6, and 4. That's your answer. You should have the answer by now. Okay, what's our first step that we have to do? Add up all the numbers, okay? So the first step number 1, is to add and tell me what the sum is equal to. So go on the side. Add them up quietly. Use your fingers. Add them up however you want to add them. Some of you could probably add in your head, right? Okay, what do we get when we added them? 30? That is called your sum. Is that my answer? No, that's my sum. Okay, step number 2. Divide by, what are we going to divide by? How many numbers I have? How many do I have?
5.
I told you it's my favorite number. Because isn't dividing by 5 easy, Jeffrey? Yes, Miss Amelie, it is. That's why I'm paying attention. That's great. That's great. I love it. All right. So what number goes inside? 30 divided by 5. Use your multiplication table if you need it. How many times?
6.
Yeah, sure. Fine. 6. So our mean is equal to 6. Our mean is equal to 6. Once you divide, that's your answer. What's your first step? Adding.
Add.
What's your second step?
Divide.
Divide. Yay. All right, let's give you one to work on. All right, start that one without me. How far can you get without me? Go slow. Use your fingers. Go slow. There's no use. Go slow. Add 2 at a time. 3 at a time. However many you want to add it together. Adding them first, using your fingers. So Raphael, the first step I want you to do is to add these numbers. First step, add. Find me the sum. Without using a calculator, we're just adding. First thing is to add them, however you want to add them. Let's not doodle on our paper though. Let's use our fingers to add this. Okay, seems like everyone's getting that same number.
Is it the right number though?
Well, you're all wrong and you're all right. I want the right answer. It's alright, it's cool, it's fine. No big deal. We know how to handle our emotions. Come on, what's 2 plus 6? Okay, plus 4. Ooh. What do we get when we add?
95.
You should get 95. 95. You should. Should have. Count again. Okay, now, so the sum is 95. Now we're going to divide by how many? 5, because that's my favorite number. It's just because it's easy to divide by 5. That's why I like 5 numbers. Okay, how many times is 5 going to 9? 1. Remainder 4. Bring down the 5. How many times is 5 going to 45? 9, right? 45. So therefore, my mean is equal to
19.
19. Are we okay so far? Like I said, it's supposed to be easier. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Okay, let's try this one. 60, 60, 70, 65, 71, 79. And the hardest part is adding them correctly. So again, repeat. 60, 60, 70, 65, 71, 79. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. 60, 60, 70, 65, 71, 79. Careful when you add. What's 60 plus 60? Does anybody know that?
120.
So you can do 120 plus 70. And then plus 65 plus 71 plus 70. Like take it like 2 numbers at a time if you want to go slower, less mistakes maybe. But let's add them. Go slow. I just added 60 and 60 in our head. and got 120. Okay, like I took a little shortcut. Just add this. Just add this. Okay, what did we get when we added?
260.
No. 405. Who got that? Good. 405 is what I got. What you should got. 405. So if you did it this way, this gives you 190. This gives you 255. Then 6, 12, 1. This gives you 326. And then 5, 1, 7, 10, 1, 405. So where is the mistake in your math? You're like, oh, I messed up here, here, here. Okay, so the sum is equal to 405. And what are we going to divide by?
6.
Divide by 6. We're so used to dividing by 5, but Miss O'Malley totally changed it up. Divided by 6. All right, let's do this. So 405 goes inside, and the 6 goes outside. Are we ready? How many times does 6, you take one number at a time. How many times does 6 go into 4? None. 0. So that's 0. How many times 6 go into 40? 6. That gives me 36. And remainder 4. Bring down the 5. I'm going to slow it down. So, how many times is 6 going to 45? No.
42.
No. 7. Because 7 times 6 is 42. What's my remainder? 3. Am I done? No. What do I have to do now? Add a decimal and a 0 and bring it straight down. I don't have a 3. I have a 30. How many times does 6 go into 30? 5. 5 times 6 is 30. Yay! Remember, we're happy when we see zeros. So our mean is equal to 67.5. Is it okay to have a decimal as our mean? Yes, it is. It is perfectly a-okay to have a decimal as your mean. That was probably the hardest one. You guys want to do easy ones or hard ones?
Easy.
I love it. I love it. All right. I'm going to give you the smallest paper in the world because we're going to glue this later in our notebooks. So let's pass these out. They're really hard to count. So I may or may not. Enough. Need one more? All right. So for this wonderful sheet, all right, we're going to be gluing it. Now you see how it's so small? You can show your work around it if you need to. Okay, some of it you can add in your head. Some of it you might have to write down and add. So well, the first thing you have to do is add. So for number one, what do you get when you add these numbers up? 20, right? Does anybody know the trick of like making tens? So if you make tens, the math is a lot easier. Like for example, if I put 4 and 6 together, what do I get? 10. And if I put 2 and 8 together, what do I get? 10. So try to make tens. It makes the adding a lot faster if you know how to make tens. So the sum is when you add, right? The sum is when you add. So when I add these numbers up, I get 20. I'm going to divide by 4. They already wrote 4 down. How do they get 4? Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, right? So that's how they got 4. What's 20 divided by 4? 5. So our answer is 5. How do I use a multiplication table for that? You go to 4 and you find 20. So I'm on 4. Oh, there's 20. When I go up, that's my answer. 5. All right? Okay, number 2. Can you add number 2? Add it with your fingers, add it on paper, add it in your head. Just add. Add number 2. We're adding. Like right now. Okay, what did we get when we added? Number 2. 18. Number 2 is 18. Add them again. You gotta go slower then. If you didn't get 18, go slower. Okay, what are we dividing by? 6, because there's 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 numbers, so I'm gonna divide by 6. What is 18 divided by 6? 3. So what's the first thing you have to do? Add them. What's the second thing? Divide them. All right. So I'm going to turn the page to my first set of notes. Ralph, I need you to copy this down. And all of you, if you need them, here they are. Here are the notes that we started with. When we wrote our date, I told you what to do first. Add all the numbers. What do you do second? Divide. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to work on this on your own. Use your notes.